Tash, welcome to the show.
Oh, Emily, hi. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much for coming on. I'm super excited about our conversation.
Oh, well, I'm equally as excited. So I hope your listeners, are getting ready to understand the world of paint a bit more.
So, can you tell us a bit about the brand Lick?
Lick is a modern paint brand, and we set out to be a people powers decorating movement that was there to help anyone transform their houses into homes that they loved. And we basically have done that through three core pillars. One being a very curated range of high pigmented paint colours. We then do it through support. So we're a brand that's basically there to help people throughout their whole journey. So that's whether they want to get inspired to decorate, to all the way through to the products, to even the tools side of things, to decorating.
I was looking at your website, paintbrushes.
Yeah, you can get everything from inspiration to paint and wallpaper to eco-friendly tools.
Amazing. And within
And
Lick, you're the director of interior design, and you're also a colour psychologist. What is a colour psychologist?
great question. So basically, my role at Lick, I've obviously been with Lick since it launched 4 years ago. And I set out to basically be there to support our customers when it came to choosing colours. I have helped I was trying to get this stat for you. I think I've done now over 3,000 people's homes in 4 years. Through this, before I was studying interior design, and then I delved deeper into the world of colour and colour psychology. Colour psychology is basically how colour can influence our mood and our behaviour and how we interact within our homes. And colour is very personal. So we believe that understanding colour psychology is fundamental in helping people find the right colours for their homes. We live in a world where we're so bombarded by these beautiful images, pictures of like the most perfect homes, fast moving trends, that can be really difficult to almost filter that out and to really understand what makes us happy. So as a brand, colour psychology enables us to basically advise the best colours for our customers and basically for their homes.
So, do you match it to
So yeah.
personalities almost?
Yeah, so basically if we were on a consultation and your idea of calm or feeling relaxed in a space will be very different to what I connect to. And I think what's so lovely with colour psychology is you can really take a step back and understand the people who live in the home, what they're wanting from it, how they're wanting to feel. And then I connect the colours to them.
Wow, that's amazing that you understand that colour has a big impact on people's mood and people's calm and serenity, but it's wild the extent to which it actually impacts people.
Totally. You have something called a personal colour association. And this could be anything from when you were growing up, you always spent time at your granny's house and she had this orange sofa, let's say. And you just loved going there as a child. Like it filled you with so much joy going over to your granny's house. And you connected with the color orange because it reminded you of her and it gave you all this like gorgeous happiness, like this lovely feeling. And actually, that color might bring in that sort of positive psychological trait for you that you want to bring into your home. Whereas I might have the complete opposite. I might associate the color orange with going on a holiday and I don't know, I didn't enjoy that holiday or had a nasty experience. And so it's all about personally which colours that you connect to, I think is what's really powerful. And that's what we try and work out at Lig. Every single person that we help is different and has a different story and has a different home. And I think it's almost about finding out who they are, what they love, and how I can help them shape their homes into places that they feel safe, basically.
So at Lick, would you, rather than follow the latest interior trend, whether it be dark colours or taupe what everyone's painting their house, do you not just prescribe people a certain colour scheme, but actually figure out what would help them?
Totally. So I spend a lot of time going to trade events, speaking to interior designers and looking at the latest trends. But I think it's really important that we don't all just jump on a trend because it's popular and it's what, I don't know, your friends are doing. I think what I try and do, and what we definitely trying to do it as a brand, is inspire people, because trends are great because they're a great way for people to get inspired and to understand what they like, but also they're great in working out what you don't like. And I think it's really important to work out, if it's a trend that you love or that you want to bring into your home, why you love it. And then I will basically work out, okay, great, how can we bring this in a timeless way, so that you're not then going to, I don't know, paint your whole room in dark blue. And then after 6 months, you might be like, Tash, oh my God, I don't know why I've done this. I don't like the colour blue. It's not for me. It's too dark. So I try and work it out, what you love about the trend, and then I slowly bring that into your home.
I love that you asked the question why. So many people don't actually think why they like it, and then you can work out from that. Amazing. And where do you get your creative inspiration from?
Oh, okay. So again, we live in a world where there's just so much choice out there and there's so much inspiration. And I think it's where I get inspired is a couple of places, really. If I'm stuck on looking for a color scheme for a client, one of the best places to actually go is actually in nature. Like going, literally leaving your house, going outside and looking at what color combinations nature's put together can honestly totally inspire you. I was actually with a client the other day and we literally stepped out into her garden and picked up, she had this lovely gravel, this like sandstone, soft pebble gravel outside. And I picked up 5 of the stones and looked at them and pulled out the colours from in there. And we've used those in her home. So it's like nature's a really good place to get inspired. The other place that I would say I get a lot of inspiration from is going to hotels. Hotels are great places because you don't spend loads of time, they can kind of push the boundaries a bit on design. And they're really great places for you to see how they've like positioned furniture, for instance, how they've really utilized a room, clever color combinations that they've used, or you'll notice that they really, go for it. Like they'll do painted ceilings to contrasting woodwork. And so I tend to try and, as much as I can, stay in different places to get inspiration as well.
So what's the process of making paint for Lick? You've got the samples, choosing the colour, making the actual paint. Talk us through.
Okay, so how we make a colour at Lick. So that actually is my team. So I head up the Lick Studio team, and part of my role is obviously the colour consultation side. And with that, I've been able to speak to all of these customers and work out which colours that they really want to have in their homes. And it's actually a really nice way for me to understand, like, okay, that's interesting. Everyone's wanting pink or everyone's wanting green. And so my background is I used to be an artist. And so what I will do is start with a white base and slowly bring in pigment to create a colour or a shade of a colour that I love. And I'll do lots of different variations of this one shade or tone. And then what I do is I send off this scruffy piece of paper that I've painted all over, off to our factory, and our chemists will make up a tin of paint in this colour. And then what I'll do is I'll paint it out in a room and do a larger scale of it to make sure that we're happy. It can take anything. One of our greens took me 6 months to make, because I couldn't quite get the right balance of yellow in the green. It was basically becoming too overstimulating. And so every time I painted it out on a larger scale, I was like, oh, it's too much. We need to tone it down. And so it can take anything from a week. Well, no, it's not a week. Anything from 2 weeks to 6 months to make one of our colours.
I think green's a really difficult colour. The green behind me We took 6 different sample tints and we painted bits of the wall before we actually got the right one. You've got a vision, but to actually have it. And I can't even imagine trying to create a paint colour. How you even start doing that? You must have thousands and thousands of different colours that you then narrow down to your collection that you currently hold.
Oh, yeah, honestly, we obviously launched Lick with a very curated paint range. So you get something called colour paralysis, where you're faced with way too much choice. And what I really wanted to do prior to Lick and what we did with all the research was when someone was, let's say, decorating their living room and they were like, Tash, I want to decorate our living room in a blue. And they went to a DIY store and went to go choose a blue, you would be faced with thousands of options of blues. And honestly, it totally overwhelms people. They're like, oh my God, this is so stressful. I don't know which blue I want. And they basically end up defaulting to maybe not the colour that they want. And they paint and they do all of the effort to going to decorating, and then it's not right. And so what we wanted to do at Lick was really curate the range. So we have only got 125 colours globally. So that's in the UK, America, and the EU. And each of our colours, we have used the highest quality of pigment. What that does is give each one this very, very unique depth of colour that makes each one totally stand on its own and gives it its own identity, basically. And so when you come to decorating and you want a dark blue for your living room, you have 2 choices. What's nice with that, a choice of 2, you will naturally go towards one. And so that's what we wanted to do, was eliminate all of that colour paralysis and just give people confidence and make it super fun and super approachable to basically decorate.
So you started Lick Paint 4 years ago. The
Yeah.
paint industry is quite a saturated market. How did you make a name for yourself?
When we started, we realised as a brand that decorating is really daunting. We live in a world where there's just so much choice. And so what we wanted to do at Lick was create a people-powered decorating movement that could really help customers feel supported and inspired to really transform their houses into homes that they loved. We did that through 3 different pillars. First one being the colours that I've just spoken about, which is having this curated range of only 125 colours, each very unique and rich in pigment. But the other thing that we really wanted to do, which our competitors weren't doing, was we really wanted to show real people in their homes and not show over-edited, over-stylized images, actually showing real transformations. And I think where that became very powerful is we weren't afraid to show a messy living room or I don't know, a room that hasn't been painted to the ultimate perfection. And I think that was just really nice because we very quickly formed this gorgeous community of real people. And it just made our brand super, super approachable. And then the other thing where we're very different is we are a modern paint brand. So we're not a heritage paint brand, we're a modern paint brand. And with this, we have a very sort of modern manufacturing process, which means we can have the best quality formulation of paint and wallpaper for basically the best price.
Amazing.
So,
And
yeah.
you've also used some influencers for your marketing strategy. Has this been effective?
Oh, yes. The influencer marketing has just been awesome. Well, when we launched with, and we were the first company to do it. And it was in our business model before the world went into lockdown. We basically wanted to do virtual colour consultancies. Why we wanted to do them virtually is because it made them a lot cheaper and a lot more accessible for everyone. And so when we launched, we worked with a whole range of influencers. It just took off. It literally was just awesome. And the interiors, the home community, are the nicest bunch of people ever. Like everyone is so friendly. It's such a welcoming community that we found out that actually working with these gorgeous influencers, it just really helped us. We have this amazing strategy that we've rolled out over the last 4 years, and it definitely has helped build our amazing community.
And what is the most popular colour that Lick sell?
Oh, what is our most popular colour? Do you know what's really lovely? Is it's not a white or a grey. It's not a neutral. It's called Green 02. And it's actually this lovely sage green that is a mid-tone, so it's quite strong. We can't make it quick enough. It's so popular, but why it's very popular, it's incredibly versatile. So you could have this colour in pretty much any style whether you're a Scandi or a more traditional style, or it can go in any room basically. It could be kitchen cabinets, it could be a bedroom, it could be a living room. It's a very, very versatile, rich, lovely green. So yeah, that's definitely been our bestseller.
I was trying to guess what colour it would be. I was thinking it could be a dark blue, but I love that it's a green. That's so fresh and nice.
Oh, it's green. It's really lovely. You know, greens are nature's neutral is the colour green. And I think what's lovely with it is people who are wanting to be a bit bolder with colour and bring colour into their homes. It's a really great colour to start with because it's incredibly restful on the eye. Green pretty much pairs with every other colour. So actually, all of our greens are really popular. But yeah, Green 02 is our most popular colour.
And being a creative person, working in a creative industry, do you find that your mood is affected a lot on your productivity?
Yeah, I'm very, very spoiled with what I do. I love what I do, and I get to speak to the coolest people that inspire me every day. I think it's such a fun job that when I'm speaking to someone and I'm helping them, transform their home, the difference it makes on their lives. Honestly, it's so rewarding that it's very hard to be grumpy in what I do. So yeah, it does affect my mood, but yeah, I just speak to the nicest people all day, every day. And so I'm very spoiled. I think I have literally the best job ever.
And you work with your husband as well in Lick. How does the creative differences manifest itself there?
I do work with my husband. That wasn't intentional. I came on with Lick 3 months before it launched. Lucas and Sam, the two founders, they had a vision and I joined them as employee number 3. And actually, so far, Emily, so good. 4 years later, we're still married. I love working with Sam. He heads up the operations side. And so we are very different in our roles. But it's lovely. It's been a really incredible journey and it's lovely to share that with him. It's been fun. It's been challenging at times, but it's super enjoyable.
I love that. And in a world of Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, is there still a role for interior designers?
100%. I think, again, where interior designers are so powerful is I think when you are scrolling through Pinterest, when you're on Instagram, you are bombarded with so many beautiful images that you almost become overwhelmed and you almost start to lose what you love and what you don't like. And where interior designers, or they don't have to be interior designers, by the way, they could be, I'm a color consultant. And I think it's just nice working out what you love about those images. Is it the colors? Is it the feeling it's giving you? And I think where the power can come is being able to digest what you love from the world that you see around you and helping you create that in your home. So yes, I definitely think there will always be a world for interior designers.
So say someone moves into a new build house, it's all white, it's brand new, no colour, no personality, it's very modern. How do they add character?
So, okay, if you have just moved into a new development.
A newborn house.
And a newborn house. Basically what you want to do is I think people fall into the mistake of being like, oh my God, I need to get everything ready and I want to totally transform it before I move in. I would always recommend to a client, just move in and sit with the house for a bit and understand which rooms you use the most. Because it's really interesting, to work out Oh, actually, we spend all of our time in the kitchen and it's super light. And I love how light it is. Or you might say, oh, okay, we go to the living room, but we only go there at night. When you start to work out the purpose of each room and you work out how you use the house throughout the day, that's when you can start to understand, like, okay, great, I want my kitchen to stay light and bright. So you'll only choose colours which almost stay within that category. And then again, if you're like with my living room, oh my God, great, I want to create a really cozy, much more intimate space. Okay, we might go a bit darker. I would always recommend to people, don't rush it, move in, enjoy living there for a bit, work out what you love about the house, like why you've moved in, why you're renting it, why you've bought it, and almost digest that. And then start to look at bringing in colour and your style and almost, your furniture that you've moved in. Some of it might look awesome, and some of it you might want to actually swap in for other stuff. So I think it's really clever to just work out what you're planning on doing and then bringing in some character.
And if someone's renting a property and they're not allowed to paint the walls, what would you suggest
Mm.
they do?
Ah, Emily, great question. I rent in London. My husband and I rented for the last 3 years. And actually, most rental properties, and I work with a lot of clients also in America and a lot, funny enough, in New York. And this is the same case for everyone there. If you are renting, most likely, if you work with the landlord, you can easily bring in a bit of your personality. And this can be through the paint colours. A lot of rental properties have quite cheap paint on the walls, and that are normally painted in either magnolia, grey, or white. And those three colours, if you said to your landlord, look, I really just want to bring in a bit more personality into the space, and this is my vision, and you show them a mood board. I have never worked with a client that hasn't been able to decorate their house in what they want. And this can be by, our colour, like all of our whites have such a uniqueness to them and they've got so much depth of colour. So even just staying with a white, but like a high pigmented painted white, is better than a brilliant white. And then what's so lovely is you can bring in more of your personality on, your furniture, your artwork, and you can bring colour in that way. So your walls can stay quite neutral, which the landlord will love. And then you can bring colour in through a lovely picture or an amazing statement sofa.
Any top tips for people decluttering their home?
Oh, yes. Okay, decluttering your home is such a good thing to do mentally, by the way. What happens when you live somewhere is you end up building up a whole load of stuff that you don't need. And what that can do is it can actually create quite a stressful environment. And so there is a huge trend at the moment, and it's called hushing your home. What that means is it's looking at everything that you've got in your home and working out which items you use every day. So almost like your everyday essentials. Those go into one bucket that you want to keep. Then you've got items in your home that tell a story, that have like a nostalgic feeling to it, and that almost bring your personality. Those again are like the most perfect things to keep in your home. Everything else in the third bucket, get rid of. Either rehome, sell on Facebook Marketplace, or just throw away. And letting your home breathe a bit and giving your home a bit more curation can totally transform the way that you feel. And it's such a lovely way. Like if you come home and everything's not, it doesn't need to be minimalist. It just needs to not have piles of stuff everywhere. Then you can let other pieces breathe a bit. So if you have an amazing piece of artwork, or if you have like the most gorgeous, book collection, I think curating everything And decluttering is a really good thing that I recommend that people try and do to their homes.
And what are the most common mistakes you see when people do their interiors?
Okay, common interior design mistakes that I see people make. First one is that they paint their whole house in a pure, brilliant white. What that does is, if you live in the UK, it shows up loads of shadow. So it's when, if people are like trying to lighten up a room and they've painted it all in this bright white, actually, what ends up happening is it makes the room feel dull, and they won't understand why, but it's basically when all you notice all of the corners of the room and everything feels much darker. So a common mistake is to paint it bright white. And what you want to end up doing is either painting it a soft white with like a warm undertone to almost counteract the grey light. Or I would always encourage going for like a lovely mid-tone colour that can absorb shadow and that can really transform a room. Second one that I see people do is they default to painting woodwork in a white and then a paint colour on the walls, where that's beautiful, but it's very traditional. And actually, if you are someone who lives in a slightly smaller house or you want the room to feel bigger, painting your walls and woodwork all one colour can totally open up the space. And then another one mistake that I see people do, oh, actually, yeah, something I see loads of people do is they centre a rug right in the middle of the room, and they don't. So let's say you're doing your living room, they just put the rug in the middle, and then they don't put the legs of the chairs or the sofa on the rug. So the rug is just this floating piece of fabric in the middle of the room. If you bring your furniture in, so away from the edges of the room, and bring it in and position it over the rug, honestly, it will transform the way your living room feels. So that would be my three sort of common mistakes I see people do.
So you mentioned when you've got a small space, painting the woodwork and the walls in the same colour. There's been quite a lot of talk about dark colours open up small spaces. Do you agree with that? Does it work?
So basically, it only really works if you really commit. For instance, if you had a small living room and you painted it in a dark blue, but you left your skirting white and your ceiling white, it would totally not work, because what happens is you're always drawn to the lightest part of a room. And so if you left your ceiling and your skirting white, automatically the room would shrink because your eye would be drawn to the ceiling and it'd be drawn to the floor where the skirting is. So where painting a small room in a dark colour can transform it is if you take that dark blue and you wrap that whole room in it. So you paint your ceiling, your walls, your woodwork, your doors, everything in the blue. And what that does is you're then not drawn to any of the edges, and it totally opens up the space. And so it's a really powerful way of decorating, but just make sure that you like hold your nerve and you do the whole room is what I'd recommend.
Bit of colour drenching. Love that.
But colour drenching, honestly, it's so cool. Like colour drenching, it's been around for years, but it's suddenly having its moment. And I really would encourage anyone on this listening to this, if you are wanting to have a very designed room that totally, oh my God, just like has this absolute charm to it, paint everything, wrap it in all one colour, and it will literally look incredible.
And if someone's got a room with very little or even no natural light, what colour should they paint it?
So two things you can do. If you have got no natural light or very little and it's quite a dark space, just work out what time of day you're there. If you're in that room all day, you might not want to go really dark because actually it might suppress your mood over the course of the day. However, if it's a room that you only go to at night and you want to create that lovely moody environment, then going for a dark color is a really great option. But if you are wanting to combat the fact that it doesn't have lots of natural light, I would go for like a warmer neutral. So like an earthy, soft pink, let's say. Or this is where like a taupe or a beige really come into their own. Because they've got those warmer undertones, they brighten up the space, they make it feel more warm, much more inviting. And then what I would then do is add a massive mirror opposite wherever there is natural light, put the mirror, and that will just reflect more natural light around the room, making it feel brighter. So I don't think if you're not into the dark colors, you don't have to go for dark colors. No one has to. You can go for a light color, but just make sure that it's like a warmer light color, basically.
And are there any easy fixes that you can think of for people to do in their homes right now? You said mirrors, which is great, opposite a window. Any easy things that they can fix?
Yes. Okay. So bringing a mirror into every room is such a powerful way of just helping reflect natural light, making the room feel bigger. Another one is layered lighting. Oh my God. Okay. The moment you bring in, and you don't have to walk into a room and turn on your overhead spotlights. I
Anything but
mean,
the
I
top
don't
light. Anything but the top light.
think but the top light. Oh my God. I don't think the spotlight should ever go on. Bringing in warm layered lighting in every room, including the kitchen, like even bringing in a gorgeous lamp, like a warm lampshade into the kitchen, it just totally creates this much more welcoming environment. So I do LED lighting. Oh, and lots and lots of plants. I think a house needs plants, it needs greenery. It's also having lots of plants really helps brings out the pigment of our paint colors, and it can just bring a bit more life into a space. So I try and do a minimum of 2 plants per room.
I love that. You must spend a lot of time watering.
A lot of, oh my God, so much time watering. I have to have certain tropical plants that I basically just can't die, like that just I can't kill. I mean, I have quite a few casualties, but I try to stick to the more tropical plants because they're harder to kill.
This might be a bit of a tricky question, but if you had to paint your entire house one colour, what colour would it be?
Oh, okay. What colour would I paint my whole house? Do you know what? We have got a colour called Pink 01, and this is a really, really soft. It's our lightest pink. And it honestly, Emily, the moment you walk into a room and it's painted in this pink, you instantly, your shoulders drop and you instantly relax. And it's light, it's warm, it can go in every room. So I would do Pink 01 and I would colour drench the whole house in it. So I'd paint everything.
And how often do you update your interiors and your paint colours on your walls?
Oh, too often. It's bad. Obviously, if I'm bringing in a new color, I like to see how it makes me feel in a space. So I will always decorate one of our rooms constantly in any new colors that I want to bring into our range. So I'm probably decorating 1 or 2 of our rooms every 3 to 6 months, but it's quite nice actually. I reckon I'm probably changing the decor every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I don't know what I expected you to say, but I love that you change your colours every few months. I mean, you need to try it out, isn't it? It's market
That's the
research.
thing. I need to exactly. It's market research. I'm like, at the moment, I'm looking at bringing in 4 new colors next year to our range, and I am very much in the process of finding out what those colors are going to be. And part of that journey is I will have to decorate. I've got basically a room that's south facing and a room that's north facing. And I like to see what that color looks like in both those lights. So, yeah, I will be decorating a lot, let's say.
And what is the role of wallpaper in a house?
Oh, okay. So, wallpaper If you are someone who has got a smaller room or a hallway that lacks natural light or is a bit narrow, a wallpaper, your eye basically travels through pattern. So a wallpaper can totally open up a space. I've got two rules when it comes to wallpaper. First one being either totally commit to the room and do the whole room in the same design. Don't just do one wall. And I think why that's so powerful is, again, it just looks like you've got way more confidence when it comes to styling your room. And so I would do all four walls in the same design. And then what I would also do is all of our wallpapers have been designed with our paint colors. And so I would pick one of the colors out from the design and I would paint your ceiling and then your skirting and your doors in one of those colors, just so then the whole room feels very finished almost. And then the other thing about wallpaper that not many people do, but it can look honestly awesome, is decorating with it in unexpected places. So whether that's inside of a cupboard, like you could transform when you open up a drawer and you have beautiful wallpaper, or put it on your ceiling. Do a statement designed wallpapered ceiling. And why that's quite cool is all of the other walls can stay quite soft and not too overwhelming. But then when you look up, you've got this incredible wallpapered ceiling that just doesn't overwhelm the space. So that would be my two sort of top tips.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Tash, for coming on. So many topics we can talk about. I love it. Where can people find Lick online and buy Lick?
Firstly, Emily, thank you so much for having me on. And for anyone that wants to buy Lick, you can either go directly to our site, so lick.com, and we can deliver paint directly to your door within 2 days. Or we are also available in Screwfix and B&Q, so you're able to go to any one of your DIY stores and you can pick up our paint colours there.
And if someone wants a colour consultation with you, which I'm sure many people will now, how can they do that?
Feel free. We've got literally reach out to me personally on Instagram. I am here to help anyone decorate. And then again, reach out on Lick's Instagram as well. We've got a team of incredible decorating consultants who can help answer anyone's questions. And then finally, we offer free consultations in our store, which is on Northcote Road. And so if you are renovating a project or wanting to decorate, pop into store and we can sit with you and create your perfect mood board there and then. And you can also have your paint colours mixed up there. So you can literally leave with paint in hand if you want to.
Incredible. I'll link all the website and Instagrams below this podcast, so definitely check them out. And yeah, thanks so much for listening, and thank you so much, Tash, for coming on.
Oh, Emily, thank you for having me. Hopefully we'll speak to you soon.